Oh my god, there was no sound, everybody. But hey, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome to week number 9 of the community stream. I was just saying that I've enjoyed 9 weeks of this and pause for water, and that I'm looking forward to keeping it going today. Today we are going to create some custom cards. We're going to create the Human Torch, which if you showed up early to the stream, then you helped me vote for this card. Let me pull it up on the screen, or for this art. Excuse me. I'm going to put it on top of my face. Those that were here early enough to the stream helped me vote on this. This is the art that we're going to use for the custom card for the Human Torch. Now I am the Human Torch. In fact, I can make myself the Human Torch. So what we're going to do is we are going to use this art to create the Human Torch. We're going to talk about abilities that we like and that we want to use for the Human Torch. And we'll just go from there. I don't have art for Mr. Fantastic, so I'll just kind of wing that. Maybe we'll find something on the internet really fast and go from there. We're going to do both of those things, but before we do those things, we're going to rate these super rares from the World's Finest set, which have some pretty interesting abilities. So there are 8, obviously, there are 8 super rares in the World's Finest set. Why is it? Oh, there it goes. 8 in the super rare field, the World's Finest set. Yeah, I think that's a cool picture too. 2 and 3 at WKO, which is far better than I thought, although I would have been 3 and 2 if I could have rolled a sidekick. That's a bummer. I did not go to this weekend's WKO. There's one down in Austin. I live in Waco. So if you know where that is, it's the birthplace and the home of that HGTV show Fixer Upper. By the way, side note, does it make anyone awkward, or does it make you feel awkward when someone's about to drink from water, but they keep just saying what they're gonna say and they keep talking, and they never actually drink from their water? Because if it does, then that probably made you feel uncomfortable. But I was gonna drive down. Actually, I probably was never going to drive down, sadly, to Austin because it was my son's birthday this past week, and we were going to have a birthday party for him. Yeah, Saturday, which is the day that they were doing their WKO. Sounded like it was a fun time, a lot of Yuan-ti, anti-Yuan-ti stuff, so I'm sure everybody thoroughly enjoyed that. I was going to bring an anti-Yuan-ti team. Actually, I had both a Yuan-ti team. Yuan-ti. It looked very similar to somebody's Southern California team. Mine had Yuan-ti, and it had Zendala and the Elf Druid. So it did the 3, the group of 3. Triumvirate of attune damage, which is pretty cool. I think that is a really, really strong build because it's just hard to blanket all. I was going to do either that, or I was going to do another kind of very similar idea that some other people latched onto, which is just like villain control. Just literally throw all the control pieces on a team. Turns out all the best ones are villains, and drop Nabi on there. I have that on my phone. I had originally had the Danger Room, and then I'd cut that, and it was cool to see that other people cut that as well, because it's totally good to cut it if you're running a control team, because the rare Nabi brings, or the rare Danger Room brings that wonderful global that allows you to ping out villains, which is not good. The Frisco one and the one in Frisco is coming up in like 2 weeks, and I'm thinking about going to that one. I haven't decided yet because first I'm gonna hit Yuan-ti. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Is it Yuan-ti or is it the Cube? That's the age-old question. I haven't decided, by the way, if I'm going to the Frisco one yet, but I would like to, if I can. And still not sure what I would bring to it. Maybe I'll just go like really off meta and bring dragons. That would be fun. Nevertheless, we're going to talk about this card, Batcave. Okay, so all of these super rares, there are some interesting ones. I had some real struggles deciding between my 4, 5, and 6 within this set. I knew my 7 and 8, and I knew my 1 through 3. But the 4, 5, and 6, I was a little iffy on. So here's Batcave. Batcave, 3-cost action, shield action, continuous, once per turn, something, something, something. It's a little small for me to read. Let me see if I switch out of studio mode. I can kind of read that. I'm going to lean forward with my glasses. There we go. Once per turn during your turn, you may purchase an action die, basic action die specifically, for 1 less than the printed cost and put it under this die. You can then send this die to the use pile to put all the things that you put under it to prep. So there's that, if you ever want to use that for some reason ever. You know, the sad thing is that it's basic actions only. It'd be really cool if it were just all actions. Batgirl Babs, one of my favorite cards ever printed, just because it's just so trippy and so cool. And combined with Cube, it's disgusting. I think most times, you know, most things combined with Cube are disgusting. So when you ping her and she deals, you know, 4 damage split however you wish amongst your opponent's characters. We've got Black Lantern Anti-Monitor, one of my least favorite cards, just because it like absolutely wrecked me on a draft one time. In draft format, this card's sick. This card's really sick, and just in general format, it's pretty sick. Like in casual. Black Lantern Firestorm. This card's terrible. I think we all can agree this card is terrible. It's a 5 cost, 5/6, which is okay, but then it makes your opponents have to pay 2 life to block with a mask character. So like multiple man. what random mask character are they always going to have on their team, you know? Black Lantern Green Arrow, which I was pretty down on until I read it again. It's been a while since I've read this card. And nowadays it actually might, you know, be pretty good, because while he's active, when an opposing character's ability deals you damage, that character takes 1. And unfortunately, they lose 1 life, or maybe fortunately, if you're running up against Vicious Struggle, you know, this doesn't trigger Vicious Struggle, so that's nice. But then at the same time, you can't buff the damage from, like if your opponent played Cube. Then we have Black Lantern Martian Manhunter, which is surprisingly not bad, because what you can do with this is just get it out in casual, where you're not running up against like things that will kill you with only direct damage, and he becomes really kind of an issue, because obviously they're going to KO him most of the time when they attack with something, but if he KOs them back, which is likely 5 attack, 6 attack, and 6 attack for a 4-drop you can buy on turn 1, then he's going to deal your opponent either 1, 2, or 3 damage just for blocking, and then you re-roll him the next turn and set him back up. It's a pretty cool card. Lex Luthor, which is a lot of people probably want this to work in the current meta, just because everything is about non-combat damage. Well, almost everything. The issue here is that, I mean, if you're taking a bunch of damage down to 0, but you're at 1 instead because of, you know, XCon Lex Luthor here, you're just probably just going to die anyway. 1 blank away from taking all that damage. And then Ultraman, he's the best. Yeah. It is what it is, right? You win some, you lose some. Ultraman is the top. So let me post these, and you guys get to voting. And we will go from there. It's a little lighter tonight on numbers, so we have 9 in the chat. Normally we have like 10 to 15. We've pushed like 17 to 20 sometimes, which is awesome. But it's spring break. You know, like this is my spring break. So today I didn't actually go to work. I'll tell you what I did here in just a moment after I give you guys the links so that you can vote, just in case you haven't already. So here are the links. Very first one, this is Batgirl. Pop. Yes, Ultraman with Kamanyante is gross. You're not wrong. Excuse me, that's Batcave. This is Batgirl. And then we have Black Lantern Anti-Monitor here. And so sorry that the text doesn't auto-indent or auto-space after posting both that, copying and pasting the link and the name. My apologies, but I think you guys can handle it. And once I finish this, you guys get to voting. In fact, you can start voting now. I think some people pre-voted, which is awesome. It means we go a little faster and get to card designing. So while you guys are voting, I will be pulling up those on a separate page. And while I do that, I'm going to tell you what I did today, because it is my spring break, which is awesome. And so me and my wife started going. So what we're going to do this entire week, because we both have the week off, both being teachers, pretty awesome. It's a good gig. We're going to be going from coffee shop to coffee shop, and this is really lame, I think, to some people, but it's awesome to me. Going from coffee shop to coffee shop, trying all the coffee in the local coffee in town, and deciding which place we like best. That's how we're spending our week. That is so lame for some people, but for us it's awesome. And so we did that, We started at one of the places in town, and it was surprisingly good. I mean surprisingly good because I don't consider myself easily impressed by things. I was quite impressed by the coffee that I had today, so that was cool. And then after that, we went and saw Black Panther, which it was my first time seeing Black Panther. We paid to see it in IMAX, and it's been years. It's been years since I've seen a movie in IMAX. Oh my goodness gracious. I loved IMAX. I didn't know what to expect, and again, I'm not easily impressed, but there were moments because Black Panther wasn't shot 100% in IMAX, and there were moments that you could 100% see at least I could, the black lines pop up, and that there were two scenes that I can think of where the black lines pop up because it wasn't shot. Those ones weren't shot in IMAX. I don't know if they just, those were reshoots or additions after they filmed it the first time. Nevertheless, it was like really jarring to see these black bars pop up and go, wait, what's going on here? It was a really good experience in IMAX. A little loud, but then again, I'm someone that doesn't particularly like overblown sounds. I guess that's the life of a music person. It is what it is, right? All right, let's start scrolling through. Oh my gosh. All right, Batcave has got 3 votes for 6th, 2 votes for 2nd, which is shocking. 1 vote for 5th, 7th, and 8th. It's a rainbow. It's a rainbow of votes, everyone. We don't know what we think about that card. Batgirl, however, we know what we think about that card. We think it's either so 6 people voted it 2nd. I was one of those people. 1 person voted it 1st. 1 person voted it 3rd. So it's hovering right up there. Then we have Black Lantern Anti-Monitor. So far we have 4 people voting it 3rd, which is one of them is me. And then 1 person voting it 5th, which I could see you arguing. It's a 6 drop versus the other 4 drops, but we'll see. Firestorm, last I checked, and let's check it again, a solid 6 votes for last place. That was not surprising at all. And we'll refresh these here in a little bit after we talk things over. Black Lantern Green Arrow, 2 for 5th, 2 for 7th, 1 for 3rd, 1 for 4th. Okay. So all over the board again. Then we've got Manhunter, Martian Manhunter. We've got 3 for 4th place, 1 for 5th, 6th, and 7th. And let's see, Lex Luthor. See what you got here. 4 votes for 5th, 1 3rd, 1 4th, 1 6th. And rounding out Ultraman, I expect to see a bunch of 1s, let's be honest. 8 votes for 1 and 1 vote for 2nd. So clearly that's the top card. Just to show you guys so that you can see what it looks like. Let's pop over. Ooh, I gotta hit studio mode so I can easily edit this and show you what I see. So you don't have to look at it yourself. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. Click this button. Click this button. Click that button. Click this button. And behold. So again, let's go through this list one more time and then we'll hit refresh a couple of times. So we've got this one as just a real smattering. Most likely we'll take like 6th because it has so many votes on the 6th, and that'll muddle down the average. Then we've got Batgirl, who's sitting a solid 2nd, which makes the most sense as a 2nd placer. We've got Black Lantern Anti-Monitor, which a couple of votes now have been added to down here, but a large percentage of us who have voted on this card have voted it 3rd. Firestorm, a unanimous vote. You know it's true when it's unanimous. So we have a unanimous vote on last place. We've got Black Lantern Green Arrow, which is just a hodgepodge. Probably settling somewhere around 6th or 5th, it looks like. Martian Manhunter, settling a comfortable 4th. Lex, a comfortable 5th. And Ultraman, it would be impossible for someone to take Ultraman's crown from him for the best. That might actually mean we could arrange these pretty perfectly. Let's see if we can get it. And then what was 4th? What settled in as for Manhunter? I think that's what I put as 4th, actually, too. And then Green Arrow probably settles at, this is definitely last. I don't know. I'd have to crunch the numbers. It's going to end up being that one. Lex ahead of Black Lantern, Green Arrow. And then where's that silly Batcave? The real question is who gets the nod? Well, Batcave will get the nod there. This one will get the nod over that because there's more fifth place votes than this gets that spread. Actually, we don't even have to crunch the numbers. How amazing is this? That is the first time, I think, in all of these sets that we haven't had to crunch all of the numbers. So, again, the order that we've ranked these in, and again, I might be wrong, but the order that we've ranked these in is first place Ultraman, second place Batgirl, third place Black Lantern Anti-Monitor, fourth place Manhunter, Lex Luthor for fifth, because when this averages together, that'll end up, just the sheer number of fifth place votes carries it. Sixth for the Batcave, just because these two second place votes will lower the entire total. 8, 7, 5, and then 3 6s. Seventh place, because there are more seventh place votes, that's going to drop the total. Well, let's see. This is 15 plus 14 is 29. 29 plus 4 is 33. Plus 3 is 36. And that... actually, that might be close. Let's do the math on this one. Where's my calculator? Anyone else seen Black Panther? What'd you guys think? Do you find it the most amazing movie you've ever seen? As several people, many people have. I wouldn't say it's the most amazing movie I've ever seen, but I will say it was extremely good for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that it was a good superhero movie. Math time. 6 times 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8. Yes, divided by 8. 5.25. And then Green Arrow. 15 plus 14 plus 3 plus 4. Yeah, actually, Green Arrow nudges out the Batcave. Interesting. So our order would then be, well, I might as well check. If this one's correct. 20 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 divided by 7. Yep. Yeah, so Black Lantern Green Arrow is 6th, followed by Batcave, which is 7th, and Black Lantern Firestorm, which is 8th. Saw it twice. Yeah, I want to see it again. I think it was very much worth seeing again. And I'm not one of those people that really sees movies twice. I watch a ton of movies, or I have watched a ton of movies over a long period of time. And I've gotten to the point now where I don't really watch movies more than once. You know? And I think it's one of those things you get the experience. And after I've gotten the experience, it's hard to get that same experience again. Unless it's like a comedy or a very quotable film. Like, for example, I have a 3-year-old son, and it's March the, whatever, what's today? March the 4th yesterday. Today is March the 5th, but yesterday my son saw that it was March 4th, and for some reason that told him that it's time to watch The Grinch. Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and I'm not going to argue with that because that movie's awesome. So we watched that. Highly recommend seeing it in IMAX. It was really, really fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So, I think we kind of got the gist of this. The fact that Ultraman is clearly the best, and the fact that really it kind of played out like we all saw. The most interesting aspect of this entire super rare rating of this week is choosing between these cards. Martian Manhunter. Come here, Martian Manhunter. I can't. I'm just touching everything. I'm grabbing all this wrong stuff. Oh, well. Here's a card. No. Here's a card. No. Here's a card. Hey, choosing between that card, this card, definitely not that card. Go away, guy. And that card. I found those to be the most difficult. And here was my argument, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. Between these cards, I placed Martian Manhunter ahead of the other two, in like 4th place because he's just all around useful. If your opponent is not bringing a direct damage team, then he can be useful. If they are bringing a direct damage team, then he could maybe be useful. He could be useful in casual. He can be useful in like theme because he's a villain. He can fit in a lot of ways, and he's a 4 cost, so obviously picked that one. And then I picked the Green Lantern over the Batcave, just because Batcave's really weak. But it's not the worst card, clearly. Come here, guy. Actually, scratch this. To me, it was actually between this, and where's Lex Luthor? Scratch that. Lex Luthor. I struggled picking between these 3 cards. That's what I meant to say. Because Lex Luthor in the meta compared to Black Lantern in the meta, this Green Arrow in the meta, kind of do similar things. This one keeps you from dying. Lex Luthor keeps you from dying, and Green Arrow kind of does retaliatory effects. But in the end, I ended up putting them in this order from left to right, just because if you're about to die, all I need to do is blank that one character. So, but I mean, really, you could argue it anyway. I do have the Green Arrow, which is interesting. I pulled it and the die's broken, which is funny. Like one of the corners goes in. It's really sad. I'd show you, but it would take me a while and no one cares. So let's do the thing that people do care about. Let's jump onto this screen and talk about the Human Torch. I'm going to pop him onto the screen so that we can see. So this is the art that we're going to use for the Human Torch. Obviously, we want him to be a Bolt character, I would imagine. So give me a die that we can modify to be the Human Torch, like that people can get their hands on, that they have readily available, maybe preferably from one of the newer sets. Give me some ideas, things that we can tack on and build with together. I personally, let me think what I was going to use. There's a couple of good die faces that are Bolt characters, but I want to hear from you guys. It's a quiet room. There's 8 people watching, 9 people watching, but it's a quiet room. So throw out some ideas on, we need a die face, some stat line that fits our dude pretty well here. I could see him being like a Scarlet Witch. It's not red, but like the Scarlet Witch from the X-Men First Class. Decent stat line. 1-3, 3-3, and a 5-3. Keeps him at a 3 cost. Let's do this. I am on the Dice Coalition page, which, by the way, great website. I'm a fan. Let's sort by bolts, and let's go take away none of those. Let's tack on some of the most recent sets are Tomb of Annihilation, Thor. Where's Thor on here? Thor. I wish these were in order of chronology. That'd be so much easier. Guardians of the Galaxy. Where's X-Men First Class? XFC. There it is. All right, so things that we can repurpose the die. Pyro. Ooh, that's a good one. Pyro from X-Men First Class. Let's take a look at Pyro from the X-Men First Class set. These are not sorted by name either, so we'll just search them. Plus, no one's ever going to play any of these Pyros. I could do that. A 3-1, a 4-2, and a 5-2. I'm fine with that. You guys want Pyro? We'll probably do that. Unless someone else has another idea. I will give you 10 seconds to suggest another. That's interesting. Pyro, the rare Pyro from the X-Men First Class set, is a 5 cost. Target opponent for each bolt in reserve pool. That's a cool win condition. That's a cool win condition. I don't remember reading this card. That is a really cool win condition. It's an awaken. So the rare. Let me just show it to you. This is a cool win condition. Can we steal this and put it on a cheaper die? How do I show you? Window capture. Okay. This. Okay. Let me zoom in for you so you can see it better. That's a cool win condition. Look at that. So it's an awaken, so it's you got to spin it up to trigger it, but deal 1 for each bolt in your reserve pool. So you get a bunch of bolts, like bolt fixers and just other ways to get bolts. Roll a bunch of bolt characters. That would be a parallax in a bunch of stuff. Oh, that'd be sick. That is a cool ability. Can we steal this and put it on a die? You guys want to steal this, or do you want to create our own? Nevertheless, since no one's suggesting else, we'll just use this as the die base. So we've got, we could do a 4-drop or a 3-drop. Let's write this down. Let's go the Human Torch. All right, so we got our die base, which is Pyro here. So tell me some abilities that you want to see on a Human Torch card. So just to recap, we have Invisible Girl, which has some really cool like bag clog. It's got the old Kitty Pryde from the X-Men, the UXM set, unblockable thing. It's got like a protection, like draw in and cancel stuff thing. We've got these really insane like Overcrush on steroids type abilities for the thing, and he has like a stun token one, and we created a new keyword called Smash. So how do we want Human Torch here to play? He seems like a nice little glass cannon type character. Does something really powerful, but at that 5/2 stat line, he just like ping. Pyro works the die and the ability. That specific ability, I think that's a cool ability. I would play with that. Is there a way to make it better or crazier? Ooh, an impulse ability. I like that. That's a good idea. Impulse what? Impulse. We could give him an impulse ability. We could just steal the Pyro's ability. Pyro. Rare ability, which is a deal 1 damage to your opponent for each bolt in your reserve pool. It's pretty cool. Impulse. Give him the new range. Oh, that's a good idea. See, that's what my first idea was, to give him something like a breath weapon, like flame thing, some like board AoE type stuff. I think that would be very cool. Something like when fielded, deal 2 to the board. Impulse, if purchased with all lightning bolts, get fielded on level 1. His level 1 side would be, what is that stat line? A 3/1. When purchased. So are we thinking he's a 4-drop? Are we thinking he's a 3-drop? Are we thinking he's a 5-drop? What are we thinking? If we're impulsing him in and you pay 3 bolts, once you get him on his level 2, that would be... Get him on his level 2. He's a 4/2. Pay 3 bolts, get a 4/2. Is that too powerful? Get a 3/1. Pay 3 bolts, get a 3/1. Seems weak. Pay 3 bolts, get a 4/2. But I like the if purchased with all bolts. What did it say? Get fielded on level 1. Field the die on level. But we'll do level 2. Because this entire thing is so powerful. This entire set up to this point is pretty powerful. Or is that too powerful? Let's see. Because the abilities that we're playing alongside... You've got this 3/5, 2/2, a 3/3, and a 3/5 on Invisible Woman. She's unblockable. So he always wins the battle with her, Invisible Woman. I'm trying to think balance-wise. If he comes in on his 4/2, then he's always... winning against her unless he's on his level 1 or 2 and she's on her level 3. Otherwise, he wins every battle against her. Is that cool? Yeah, maybe come in on level 1 is better. Stat line seems fine, though. Give him Awaken from the Real Pyro rare card. Yeah, give him that same ability, which I think is cool. That's a cool win condition. I can't believe I didn't see that. I want to build a team around that card, like ASAP. I wonder if I have that. I don't know where my binder is. Bet you it's in my book. No, it would be a faux pas to get up from my chair and to go check to see if I own that card. I guess I could always fake it and like put that team together. Which, by the way, hey, after we finish all this, anyone want to stick around and play a game on stream? I think that would be fun. I think we could do an ending segment where it's like rapid fire, play one game to end the stream just with somebody on the stream. I think that'd be cool. So up to this point, we have Impulse, if purchased with all bolts, field the die on level 1, which means you get a 3/1 for paying for 3 bolts. If you put Superwoman around that, then you can pay 4 and guarantee to get a 3/1. That seems fine. That seems like a nice trade-off. Getting a 5/2 for 3. What are the... I guess is his fielding cost? It's a 1/5/2. That's a really powerful card. Because I'm thinking like X-Men First Class. What's this? This the screaming sounding guy. I forgot that guy's name. I have that card like sitting out right here. I should just look. This guy. Where'd he go? Banshee. Look at the stat line. Okay, here's a 3 cost. This card is bad. It's almost good, but it's not. And let me just go like this. Ah, you can't even see it. I'm not going to sit here in autofocus. I'll just read it to you. He's a 1/2/1, 2/3/2, 2/5/2. He's a 2/5/2. He's a 3-drop. This might be better if you got like a 1/2/1 and a 1/3/2. And he deals 1 whenever you field him to all opposing character dice, which is cool, but he's just like too pricey on all the fielding costs to be effective. Now he does deal 3 if you use him with Cube. What is this card that fell off? Oh, the front line. He deals 3 if you use Cube, which is cool, but he's just a little too pricey for 3 on the fielding cost side. Yeah, you guys called out Banshee in the chat. You're right. You right. So I think, yeah, that's a balanced enough ability. Get him out on his level 1. That stat line. Make him a 3-drop. We'll make him a 4-drop for the Pyro rare ability. And then what do we want to do? Like a board clear, board wipe when fielded, deal 2? Or when attacks, deal 1 to everything? No, it's kind of like what we already see. Anything interesting? Anything more interesting? Similar to a breath weapon. Something like that. What do we got? Torch 2. What if it does to like 3 dice? Like deal 2 damage to up to 3 opposing character dice. When fielded, deal 2 damage to all opposing character dice. That's doable. And then it buffs to 4 for Cube. Flame Breath 2. Flame Breath 2. It doesn't have to be a keyword, though. It can just be a when field, because it's a when fielded ability. It's not a breath weapon, because it's not a when attacks ability. So it doesn't have to be keyworded. We could just say when fielded, deal 2. Or it could be something like okay, so picture in D&D, like Cone of Cold moves in a cone, right? You know, like Cone of Cold is a spell that you cast and it attacks in a cone. I'm thinking that same thing, but in fire. And so it hits like 3 things. That'd be kind of cool. Or what if you gave him the Cone of Cold ability? Like, when attacks, do the Cone of Cold ability. Like, deal 1 to 1 opposing character, 2 to 2 opposing character, 3 to, like that. Would that be too broken? Let me look at that. Cone of Cold. Cone of Cold. If you gave him the Cone of Cold ability, his text would say, deal 1 damage to target character die, 2 to a different target character die, and 3 to another target character, different target character die. You can only lose it. So it stops at 3. The cap stops at 3 for that one. Does the new one keep going? No. What if you just gave him like Cone of Cold on legs? Let's do that. That seems fun. Cone of Cold, the action doesn't get played enough. When fielded, deal 1 damage to... Yeah, exactly, right? What's the rare Mjolnir text? What's that? I gotta look that up now. Oh, that yeah, that's the one that keeps going forever until something gets KO'd. Right? Let me look. Goes for ages. Yes, this one goes to 1, then 2. Continue increasing the damage dealt, selecting new targets until a character dies KO'd. Yeah, that seems really cool. Now, would you make that probably a when fielded effect? Because when attacks would be just really just gross. A when fielded effect, and you make him a 4-drop? No, that's pretty broken. You make him a 5-drop if you do that. I like that though, because like, so he's a 5-drop, then you're looking at. So basically, this would be a 5-drop when fielded Mjolnir text, because you're most likely doing some board wipe stuff, and you have a 5-attack guy or a 4-attack guy or even a 3-attack guy. That's really powerful. A 3, 4, or 5 attack on top of the fact that you've probably flipped the board in certain ways. If he's not a 5-drop, then a pinned equals spend. Have him spin bolts to activate his Cone of Cold to keep it from being too broken. When fielded, you may pay a bolt to do that. When fielded, you may deal 1 damage if you pay 1 bolt, deal 2 if you pay 2 bolts. Is that what you mean? Spin a bolt to activate his Cone of Cold to keep it from being too broken. When fielded, pay a bolt to trigger the Cone of Cold ability. When fielded, KO a character to trigger the Cone of Cold ability. Then you can make him a 4-drop. KO a sidekick. Pay a bolt. I mean, you throw on the energy fixer, the bolt fixer, then it ends up being the same thing. Huh. What do you guys think? KO a character, pay a bolt to trigger. Then you make him a 4-drop. That's still not enough. Pay 2 bolts to trigger that ability. Pay 2 bolts is probably the best. Because then you're fielding him, you're paying 1 to field him most likely, and you're paying 2 bolts to trigger. I just thought, is there any when fielded effect that says when fielded, pay this? Let's find out. I have the thing pulled up. None. All. Close that. Delete. When fielded, you may pay to 1 energy. Yeah, I mean, they're like Nova Prime has done that. You may pay X bolt energy. Firefly. The rare Firefly. That one doesn't see any play whatsoever. And that's a 4-drop. Yeah, so we have some justification. And that's a 4/4 on top. Oh, yeah. We could totally do that. When fielded, you may pay... Well, that's pay X energy. When fielded, you may pay... I don't know. Ooh, when fielded... So, Underdog. Underdog. Do we like Underdog? or pay 2 bolts. It's either pay 2 bolts, pay all bolts in field minimum 2 to activate. When fielded. So underdog or pay 2 bolts. You guys pick. Throw it in the chat. Underdog or pay 2 bolts. Those are your options. And I'm going to write down whatever you say. But we'll make him a 4-drop because we're paying 2 bolts, or we're underdogging him. An underdog is a real handcuff. Pyro rare ability, we're going to make him a 4-drop. Because that's a cool win con. And we want these cards to play together. Impulse with purchase all bolts field on level. We'll make that one a 3-drop. That's a really fast character, though. Maybe I do bump these up to like 4, 5, and 4. Maybe the deal 1 damage to your opponent for each bolt in your reserve is not. Well, no, that's not that bad because that's basically the Firefly's ability, except you have to pay the bolts that you have for Firefly versus rolling them. No, I bet you. Okay, so 2 bolts looks like 2 bolts is what we'll go with. Underdog cost 0 if not underdog. Pay 2 bolts. That's a little too wordy and difficult to understand. Pay 2 bolts. I'll do that. Sweet. Okay, so what we have is Impulse. He's a 3-drop Impulse. If purchased with all bolts, then field on level 1, which makes him fast because he's a 3-drop. And you can roll 3 bolts, most likely. If bought with only bolts is how I would phrase that, not with all bolts. Field on level 1. So you get to 3-1 for 3 bolts. That's pretty-ish balanced. Pretty-ish balanced. I don't know. It depends on what we do for Mr. Fantastic. We could make some counterplay between those 2 cards. Pyro's rare ability from the X-Men First Class set as a 4-drop. Deal 1 for each bolt in your reserve pool. And then when fielded, pay 2 bolts and you just trigger the Mjolnir text, which KOs for ages. That seems a little bit. Well, no, it's a 3-drop action and you're getting 5. But you're paying 2 bolts. Still might be pretty broken. That still might be pretty broken. Pay 2 bolts, 4-drop, Mjolnir text. That might be a little broken. We'll do it anyway. Who cares? Which leads us to Mr. Fantastic. So I'll let you guys do a little bit of the legwork. If you guys know of a Mr. Fantastic or can find a Mr. Fantastic, some Mr. Fantastic art that might work for a card that's sort of similar to the other card art that we have thus far. Like here's the Human Torch. I'll kind of shrink it down. We'll use that art. Again, these are like, I will be very specific. I'm making 0 money on any of this. I am not selling anything. So this art is not mine. So thank you to whose art it is, and you'll get credit on the side of the card. And I'm not trying to profit in any way, shape, or form on any art that you may present. So sorry if you think I am stealing, but I'm not. Not that anyone would or care. Again, there's no money being made, so you're not missing out. These are the things that we're sticking with. This is the art that that we're kind of going for, the style that we're kind of going for. See if we can squeeze the thing in the center. Post a, I don't know, like a link or something in the chat. I trust you guys not to post terrible things in the chat that kind of fit with this theme, with like this art style. Oh, my phone just like exploded. Hey, sending it via Messenger. I like that. Let me pop over to there and see if I can see it. Send me the art that you think might work. Hey, you guys, I think there's been some... Ooh, that's kind of creepy looking, but we can make that work. Save image. What do you guys think about all the new Dice Masters websites? Like Dice Coalition and DM North. I think it's awesome. Did you guys see the DM North little challenge? What do you think about this? Does that fit? I will say it's very it's very hard to find art that's cool looking of Mr. Fantastic. Hence the issue that I've had, the struggle that I've had. Is that too cheesy? I don't know. It looks ridiculous, but any person that can like stretch their neck to ridiculous levels, I think is ridiculous. So I'll join you in the hunt. Let's see if we can find some. Mr. Fantastic art. There's one that I thought was okay. Where is that? Let me see if I can find it. That's not bad. Right? It's so bonkers to me that we like came up with Mr. Fantastic as a superhero. Like, that's not bad, right? I've seen worse. I don't know, the other one the other one's a little bit cheesy for my tastes. And yet here it is on the top like front page, you know. So clearly popular picture. Yeah, I like this one too. This one's not bad. Let me see if it's large enough. Throw up there. This one's not bad. Ooh, it's tiny though. That's not going to look very good on a card. We'll make the other things go away. Fire. Where's the... What? Human Torch? Go away. Here. Those are some options. 1, 2... We'll do this. We'll like layer them like that. Okay. Let's get one more option and we'll throw them all down as choices. And you guys can tell me what you think. This isn't bad. Is there a bigger version of it? No, not really. It's bonkers to me that we came up with a nemesis for Mr. Fantastic that's literally the same as Mr. Fantastic. Like most superheroes fight someone that's like a carbon copy of themselves. But I just don't know how you explain Mr. Fantastic having a carbon copy, like villain version. It's really bonkers. Really weird. It's just tough, man. Just tough. Like, what if we just zoom in on this? Let's talk about the fact that we could just zoom in on this and call it here, because this is kind of cool. We'll make that the third one. You pick, and I'll zoom in on the center. So we have 1, 2, and 3. You tell me which one you guys like. 1, 2, or 3. Look at this custom artwork we've already made. Look, just put it center like this. That right there, you could put that on the background of a website. Please don't. That's sarcasm. Please don't actually do that. That's the one. The third one, it is hard to find an art style that fits him. When attacked, spend X number of bolts. Damage 1 character for each bolt spent, then turn. That's kind of a cool text box, or text that you sent. Deal 1 damage to each character and opponent when fielded. 3, 3, 2. 2 is very small. I'd have to find a larger resolution version of number 2. I think we may just do... Well, there's 2 votes for 3. Oh, there's Black Panther. Black Panther was actually one of my favorite comic characters and comic books to read. I've read very few comics, but I've read a couple Black Panthers, and I really enjoyed that character. 3, 3, 2, and one more vote, and we'll move on. Last vote. Someone vote so that we can move on. Someone throw out like 1 or throw out another 3. Just don't throw out a tie for 2, because then it'll be confusing. If I had to weigh in, I could just break the tie. I guess I could do that. I don't like stepping on toes, but I'll do it. This one's clearly gone. Hello, me. There I am. All right. Oh, wait. Someone said something. 3 fits better with the other art. Yeah, I agree. I think that's why we're going to go with it. So I'm going to put my vote in just because I want to vote. I like this one. And I will punch in on Mr. Fantastic and we'll go from there. Plus the beard, man. It reminds me of my own. Dude, I need a shave. This is getting thick and uncomfortable. Like it was like a pretty day today. It was a little bit warm, but like a really nice cool breeze. Once that breeze goes away, I'm going to like be regretting having this long of a beard. So I'm going to shave this thing off. All right, now give me a die and a purchase cost that we want to fit in. We have a mask character, we have a fist character, we have a bolt character, so he will be a shield character, even though he's shown up already as a mask character. We'll make him a shield character this time. So Mr. Fantastic, shield character, what die are we repurposing for Mr. Fantastic? And what drop, what low drop or high drop should he be? Probably around the 4s to 5s, kind of like we kept. Maybe we could even do the rainbow 3, 4, 5 like we did for the Human Torch. And we probably want something that does give us some counterplay with the Human Torch because we've got. Well, let's talk about what we have. We have non-combat damage blocker. We've got an unblockable character. We've got a bag clogger. We've got Overcrush. No, it's not Overcrush. It's Stun Token. We've got, where is the thing? We've got Stun Token, we've got Intimidate, and we've got Smash, which is like Overcrush, but not, well, it's not Overcrush. It's like something gets KO'd that goes to the used, which is cool. We've got Board Sweep. No, we don't have Board Sweep. We have Impulse ability that he jumps out onto the field. We've got Pyro Rare. We don't have anything that deals with that unblockable, which might be fine because she's a 3/5. We've got a board clear. We've got a win con, which is kind of a cool win con. We don't really have any other win cons. He could give us a win con. Block more than one attacker seems good. To show Mr. Fantastic, when Mr. Fantastic is blocking, whenever you could use a global ability, you may give Mr. Fantastic minus X attack and plus X defense. Oh, I like that. And I like the fact that the idea of making Fantastic Four characters cheaper, maybe cheaper to field. Well, the fielding costs aren't really an issue. Let's see. So, and it's really not that bad on the cheap. Well, I mean, one cheaper to purchase is let's see, makes all of the things 5, makes the Invisible Woman's 2, 3, and 3. It makes the Human Torch really broken. It makes the Human Torch really broken. It makes that third Human Torch, the Mjolnir effect, really broken because he's now a 3-drop and he's a 1 fielded effect. That's pretty gross. And we could change that one. Fantastic Four field for free. That would mean that, let's see, what does it affect? That would mean that Invisible Woman always fields for free. Thing fields for free on one side, then it's a 1 and a 2, and then Human Torch would field for free. I mean, that's something. I like this one. So what do you guys think about the you can give him plus defense for minus X attack? I think that is a really cool card. I think we slap that one on a card. Ship it right now. But the question is, what cost would he be? A 4-drop? I think it's while blocking, isn't it? While blocking. What about when blocking? Blocks. Where'd it go? Oh, blocks. When absorbing an attacks or blocks. When Madam Web blocks. Yeah, so it would be when Mr. Fantastic blocks a character die. And then you don't need to say that whenever you could use a global ability because you're already at that portion after he blocks. You may give Mr. Fantastic... Do you want to pay? You pay? No. You just buff his defense up. That's a cool little ability. We don't have a stat line. We need a stat line. Like Dove. The Dove stat line where it's like really strong defense. Already. Or like a middling stat line so you could really play around. I like that one. Let's go for a middling stat line. Find me something that's like a middle. Yeah, me too. I think the shifting the attack and defense stats is unique. And also... Oh, Havoc is what you suggested. Havoc. Let me look that up. Havoc. Havoc is a 1/4, a 3/4, and a 5/4. He costs 1 on all sides, and he's a shield. Yeah, that works. I think that's a really good pick. Well done. Havoc is awesome. Well, what does MODOK look like? Ooh, oh, that's right. It's like the annoying spelling. M-O-D. Okay. MODOK. I can't click him. Clearly no one cares. A 1/4, a 1/6, and a 2/8. No, I think the other way around. The 5/4. Yeah, the Havoc stat line is super cool. Because you have the option to keep him as a decent attack character. But then you could just become really defensive. I like that. So he's the Havoc die. And then Human Torch is the... What do we say the Human Torch? Oh, Pyro die. Pyro. Okay, give me a... So when Mr. Fantastic blocks a character die, you may give Mr. Fantastic minus X attack to a minimum of 0 and plus X defense. Now give me a purchase cost. How much does he cost for that? 4? It costs 4, maybe? I like 4. That seems like a good number. 4 is a turn 1 buy. I keep looking back at that Pyro and going, maybe that's a little too broken. We'll keep going. And then what are the other abilities that we have so far for him? We had... I liked... Someone suggested the idea of... well, there's the fielding cost -1. So another 4-drop. While Mr. Fantastic is active... Fantastic Four character dice cost 1 less to field. And then we need one more Mr. Fantastic. I like the idea of there being a can block multiple character dice and then can do something. That'd be kind of cool. You could play off the like pulling thing, like he stretches over and pulls something to him. Ooh, this is interesting, and it counterplays against the unblockable invisible woman. You could say like how would you phrase that? During the blockers portion or during the global portion of the attack step, Mr. Fantastic may block 1 extra character die that is unblocked, something like that. You know, like. Can pull something to it. Sent to the use pile. Okay, we already have that. When Mr. Fantastic blocks, he may block an additional character die that is unblocked. Something like that. He may block an additional unblocked character die. Yeah, something like the Ring of Magnetism, where it pulls it to them, you know? For those that know that card. What's another way? Like the effect, but not using the wording of that card, sadly. All opposing action dice and abilities can only target that monster. What if you use that? You like the uncommon, the really good effect? We could just bring back the Ring of Magnetism. That's kind of cool. I like that idea. So instead of what I was saying, just give him the Ring of Magnetism ability. So play on a monster. So Ring of Magnetism, the old school Ring of Magnetism. If you never played against it, it was really confusing to try and understand early in the game. Back when like targeting was, who knew what targeting meant? They didn't specify. So the Ring of Magnetism, the uncommon, it was called the Action Attraction. And it was a 3-drop action that you would play on a monster. This was before Equip existed. Actually, I guess it was right. Yeah, no, it was right before Equip existed. And it said, play on a monster. Your opponent's action dice and abilities can only target that monster. And so if your opponent played like basically anything back then in the meta except Hulk Green Goliath or Breath Weapon, then that ability was being soaked up or pulled to whatever you attach the Ring of Magnetism to, which was a really cool thing back then. I think it's cool. I think we do it. Robert Allen retracted his message. I don't see why not, because I think that's 100% correct. I think we slap it on there. We make him a 4-drop, and we say, while Mr. Fantastic is active, your opponent's action dice and abilities can only target Mr. Fantastic. Your opponent's action dice. Now, how do they phrase that now? Your opponent's... Now, action dice and abilities and character abilities. Opposing action dice. Opposing action dice and character abilities can only target Mr. Fantastic. There it is. So while Mr. Fantastic is active, opposing action dice and character abilities can only target Mr. Fantastic. Boom. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Exactly, it does. It plays totally into the stretching theme, which is why I like it. It was a good suggestion. Well done, people. So looking at the Fantastic Four, what we have so far, again, going over the abilities, because I think this part is important to look at the balance within the set. So we have Invisible Woman. I'll just throw it on the screen so you guys can see too. Because why not, right? This is the art we're going to use for, what's his face? I haven't looked at the screen in a while. All right, throw this on there. Where are you at? Boom. And then let's go like this, and then let's go like Control D. Control D. All right, so we got this Invisible Woman that says Impulse. You may pay Mask. If you do, add this die to your opponent's bag. It's going to be changed to add a Force Field die to your opponent's bag. When they draw an Invisible One, when they draw the Force Field, place Invisible Woman in your prep area. They do not redraw to replace it. So it's a bag churn, or bag clog, excuse me. We have the Synergy ability, which is a global that can be used only by you. It's not really a global. While Invisible Woman is active, you may pay a Mask to cancel an instance, and that instance will be changed to the word source, because that is the word. Cancel a source of non-combat damage directed to you or to your characters, which is pretty cool for the current meta. We have Invisible Woman cannot be blocked the turn she is fielded. So you're looking at a 3-drop or a 3 attack or a 2 attack or 2 attack. Pay mask. Target can't attack this turn unless the owner pays 1 life, which is cool. So that's Invisible One. You're looking at those cards. Here's the Thing, which is a really strong character within the team pack that we have created. I just keep forgetting that the hotkey is Control D, so let's just press Control D so I remember. 6-drop, all 3 of his are 6 drops. We've got when he attacks, if you control 2 other different Fantastic Four characters, place a stun token on target opposing character card. We've got Smash, which is the new keyword that we've created. When this character KOs another character die, that character die is moved to the used pile instead of the prep area. And we have Intimidate 2, which does the Intimidate thing. You just do it for 2 characters, which is 2 character dice, which is awesome. And then we have these abilities, and there's no real good way to show this I can think of. So I'll just spell it out to you. Now I want to show you visually, because I am a visual learner. I'm sure we're all visual learners. Can I bring this up? Let's find out. Window capture. We'll add an additional window capture. Sorry the screen went black. Don't worry, everybody. Hey, it worked. I'm using good old Notepad. Who doesn't love some good old Notepad? So we have... If I change this, does it change that? Yes, it does. Okay, I'll just make sure you guys can see it. We have Impulse. If purchased with only bolts, field this die on level 1. So that means if you're paying 3... for this Impulse ability, 3 bolts, then you're getting a 3/1 on the field immediately, which is pretty okay. We've got the Pyro Rare ability. He's a 4-drop, and it says deal 1 damage. So Awaken. This is Awaken. Deal 1 damage to target opponent for each bolt in your reserve. So if you have like 4 bolts in your reserve pool, and then you Awaken twice, or like 3 times or 4 times, that can get pretty gross pretty fast. It's disgusting with cube too. So maybe we change it as a 4-drop, because if you have 2 bolts in your used pile, or no, excuse me, 2 bolts in your reserve pool, and you play a cube, then he deals 3 per each bolt, so you're dealing 6, and that's just 1 spin up, 1 Awaken trigger. Is that too broken? Maybe 5-drop is good for a reason. Maybe that Pyro Rare is pretty good, and I just never thought about it. Tell me, is this a 4-drop? Is that okay, or is 5-drop more the speed? And then when fielded, pay 2 bolts. And when you do, here's the text that will come after that. Let me pull it up. Deal 1 damage to target character die, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Keep increasing that damage until something is KO'd, selecting new targets, or all character dice have been damaged. So, yeah, that's probably pretty fair. A 4-drop that does that, because I will say Mjolnir is a little tricky to spread that out, because only one thing is getting KO'd by the end of it all. So maybe paying 1 bolt is good. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because the stipulation, it ends when things get KO'd. Sound off in the chat. It ends when things get KO'd, and I want to know what you guys think, if that's broken or not. Maybe paying 1 bolt makes sense. The more I think about it. Maybe the rare Pyro's ability is the gross one. I think it is. Now that I think about it, I think this is just going to be pay 1 bolt, use the Mjolnir ability, because it ends when things get KO'd. I think this one's the broken one. I think a 5-drop is actually correct. Go WizKids for making this a 5-drop. Deal 1 damage, Awaken, deal 1 damage to your opponent for each bolt in a reserve pool. Because a 4-drop would be so crazy. You buy it turn 1. All you need really is like to just buy up cubes after that. You play 2 cubes because they stack. You deal 5 for every bolt in your reserve pool. That's like 4. That's 4 things. Yeah, let's make him a 5-drop. That's gross if not. Which makes him no different from the actual Pyro. And we're using the same die. But if you don't have the rare, I guess you're playing around with that then. It doesn't continue up on. It ends wherever you get a KO. You know. Okay, and then Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic. When he blocks a character die, you give Mr. Fantastic X minus X to and plus X defense. Minus X attack plus X defense. While he is active, this is when Mr. Fantastic blocks a character die. I think I said it the other way. While he's active, Fantastic Four character dice cost 1 less to field, which is cool because you're discounting Pyro's free to field. Not Pyro. Human Torch is free to field. So is Invisible Woman, and so is... well, not all of the sides of, what's his face. This, should it be your other? Because what is his stat line that we're using? I have to look really quick. Havoc. Oh, no, yeah. So he would make himself free to field. I guess that wouldn't really matter that much. That's fine. He can make himself free to field. Who cares? And then while he is active, opposing action dice and character abilities can only target Mr. Fantastic. So throwing out some nostalgia for the wonderful action attraction of years past. I like it. So we have 4 out of 8 characters. We have the 4 Fantastic Four characters. Now, before we jump into the last thing, which I want to play some games. I don't know if you guys are interested or if anyone wants to, but I was thinking we could... if someone has a setup, like camera setup and a team, like a casual team, ready to go, because I don't have a professional team. I don't have a meta team put together. If someone has a casual team put together, then I would totally play you for the end. But before we do that, let's talk about what other 4 cards go on this set, go in this team pack. Dr. Doom. Some people suggested the little card that they have, which would be cool because that card did exist at one point. Did exist. What else goes on this? What else goes on this team pack? We can do those two. I think we need some more bad guys and get some good counterplay. What are 3 bad guys that often fight against the Fantastic Four? Fantastic Four villains. Namor? What? Why did I think Namor was a good guy? Oh, because apparently he liked Wonder or Invisible One. Huh. The Skrulls. Let's give a Skrull card. Let's do a Skrull card. Doctor Doom, Skrull. All of these all sound terrible. Molecule Man sounds familiar, but I don't... Oh, wait a minute. What's the... Yeah, didn't... Galactus? We could do Galactus. Let's get a Galactus card. We're going to get a Galactus card. Molecule Man. Why do I recognize your name? Maybe you were in a comic once that I recognize. Dude, what's the, demon dude? What have you guys said? Puppet Master. I saw that one on this list. Silver Surfer, but we're talking I want 4... Let's do 8 full-on characters so that you could have, you could break this set into 2 parts and 4 people could play the Fantastic Four and 4 people could play villains. I think that would be super cool. Puppet Master, I have no clue who Puppet Master is, but he was way up on this list, so I assume he's kind of a big deal. He has no revealed superhuman ability, but possesses a genius-level intellect and was once a brilliant biologist with a doctorate in biology. He's extremely talented craftsman and very gifted in experimental science. You can do something with that. So Doctor Doom, Galactus, the Skrull, which should have Swarm. That would be sick. And some weird shape-shifting ability a la Doppelganger. Doom... Mole Man and his moloids. Why is that on the top of the list? Let's just do Namor. Everyone recognizes Namor, right? And I don't think we've had a Namor card. Have we? Oh, that's not true. We had that way old school Namor. The Submariner. That was the cool one. Couldn't be blocked. Or no, this is the one that would field the 2 sidekicks. That was cool. We haven't done a Namor in a long time. Let's throw him on there. Plus, we can make him a villain, and on some cards, we can make him a hero. Maybe he could be a flip. That would be cool if he'd be a flip. Probably cost me more to, you know, like, print, but I don't care. Unblockable. Bring back the unblockable Namor. She-Hulk and Spider-Man have both had an... Yeah, but not so much... Because we have the 4 heroes. We have the 4 titular heroes, right? We've got those 4. So we want 4 villains, so you could have counterplay.